Okay, now moving on to 4-digit quotients, which is the other part of our lesson today. We're looking at number 3 on page 107, which is about the middle of the page. We're going to do 8,984 divided by 8. And I know that this is going to have 4 digits in the quotient because my very first digit in the thousands place is equal to or greater than 8, or the divisor. So when I'm making my place value sections model, I'm going to make sure that there's 4 sections for me to work with. 8,984 divided by 8. So I'm going to be looking at the thousands first because I know that I'm going to have 8 that can go into that, at least 1. Then I'm going to move into the hundreds. Then I'm going to move to the tens and then to the ones. Same thing in our expanded notation. We're going to start with our thousands, work into our hundreds, and do our tens and then our ones. So if I'm looking at 8, how many 8s go into 8? 1. Only 1 fits in there. 1,000 times 8 is 8,000. I'm going to carefully subtract, and I get 984. 8,000. Subtract. I'm going to take this 984 and move it to the top. I'm now looking at the hundreds again. How many 8 fit into 800? That would be 1. Let me get my green pen. 1. 100 times 8 is 800. I'm going to fix something. It's supposed to be 984. And this, see what happens when you don't correctly write the right number. So still, 1 8 fits into 9. I'm going to subtract, and I get 184. So 184. Now I'm looking at, I'm going to move that 184 and I'm going to be looking at the 18 because the 1 is too small. 8 goes into 18. 2 times would be 163 times. Yeah, 2 times. Subtract. So we have 2 times. Then we move the 24 to the next place value, which is ones, and 24 divided by 8, we know what that is. Okay, then you're going to take your place value, 1,123. Oh. Except for you don't need this added, yeah. And then if I'm looking here, I've got 1,123. Moving on to number 4, it's going to be 7,722 divided by 3. And this first digit is greater than or equal to the 3. So I know, since there's 4 digits in the dividend, that there's going to be 4 digits in my quotient. So I'm going to make sure that in my place value sections model that I have 4 sections to deal with. So again, I like to set this up because I know I'm looking at the thousands. And then I'm looking at the hundreds. Then I'm looking at the tens. And then I'm looking at the ones. So if I'm looking at how many threes fit into 7, I know that that's 2. And 2,000 times 3 is 6,000. So I'm going to subtract that out. 2, 2, 7, 1. I'm going to do the same thing in the expanded notation model. 6,000, subtract 2, 2, 7, 1. Then I'm going to move that 1722 to the next place value. Now I'm looking at 1,700. So how many threes go into 17? I know that 4 are 12, 5 is 15, and 6 is 18, which 18 is too much. So I'll go with the 5. And I'll subtract. Do the same thing in the expanded notation. Now, I don't want you doing this 2 times. I'm showing you 2 different strategies at the same time so that you can pick which one you like and works for you the best. So I have 222. So I'm looking at 22 now. So I know that 7 times 3 is 21. So that's probably going to be the closest. Subtract. Subtract. And I know that when I take this 12 and move it up to the next place value, I am looking at ones. So how many threes go into 12? 4. Same thing here. So in my expanded notation, I do 2,574. With my place value sections, 2,574. Hopefully, you are able to organize your numbers and divide a lot smoother with these 2 strategies.